Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fabrication Shop. Today we'll be looking at building the engine mount for our Astrocam 110 Delta II launch vehicle. And we'll be making a couple of upgrades from the original model. Now if you're new to our channel, we want to encourage you to subscribe and hit the bell so that you can be notified when we drop our next video. In this episode we'll be assembling the motor mount for our Delta II rocket. We're going to start by marking the engine mount tube 1 5/8 inches from the top of the tube. Now instead of marking the top 1/4 inch mark for the engine hook slot, we will be using our 3D printed engine hook cutting guide. We have a video on how to use these guides, and we'll place a link in the description below for both the video and where you can get the print files. Place the cutting guide over the top of the tube. Use your hobby knife with a number 11 blade to cut the slot. Then remove the guide. Next, we're going to make our first update to the model. The instructions call for a wrap of masking tape around the engine hook. Instead, we'll be using a plastic engine hook retainer from our parts bin. First, we'll use our tube cutting guide to draw a circle around the tube so that we can make sure the retainer is placed correctly. Then we put a slate bend in the engine hook, and this will help hold the engine in place during flight. We'll place the engine hook in position and then glue the retainer in the same spot as the masking tape, keeping everything aligned. Next, we need to make a mark 2 1/16 of an inch from the top of the motor mount. This will be our alignment mark when we install the motor mount into the main body tube. Next is the centering rings. These are die cut, which was common during this time period. Cut the small tabs to release the rings. Test fit the rings to make sure they fit snug. You may need to sand the tabs a little bit. Make sure everything is centered. Our next modification to the model is replacing the standard SD shock cord with a Kevlar shock cord. We modify our top ring by making a small V-cut near the edge of the ring, just big enough for the Kevlar to fit through. Cut a section of Kevlar cord that is long enough to go around the engine mount and through the body. We'll cut it back in length later. Wrap the Kevlar cord around the engine mount tube and tie it into a knot. Place the top centering ring in position on the engine mount tube. Apply glue to the top of the ring. You can also apply glue to the top of the other centering ring and let these glue joints dry completely. Next, apply glue to the inner portion of the top centering ring. While the glue is still wet on the inner side of the top ring, slide the Kevlar cord into position against the centering ring. Once the glue has dried, apply a thicker glue fillet around the Kevlar cord, soaking it in glue and securing it against the centering ring. You can also apply fillets around the remaining ring sides to get a secure mount and let the entire assembly dry. Finally, we're going to bring the Kevlar cord up through the notch in the ring. Slide on a piece of heat shrink tubing so that it covers the cord just above the ring. This will help protect the cord from the heat of the ejection charge. Secure it in place using a heat gun or similar device. That concludes this episode on constructing our motor mount. In our next episode, we'll begin construction of the Delta II launch vehicle. If you've enjoyed this video, and if you like what we're doing here, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. If you hit the bell, you'll be notified when we drop our next video. So until next time, wishing you all the best, and take care.